Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing my round review for AFL Fantasy round 3. 2003 I scored and team value up to 17.303 million, which is pretty good. I mean, it's a little bit behind some of the others, but some of the others have a little bit more problems than me, I think. A round 3 ranking of 1842. I knew it was going to be high because of the Gold Coast bye players as well as GWS. So that's something we have to monitor over the next little bit. And now an overall ranking of 6,282, which is up roughly 17.6k rankings, which is really good. Puts me, I believe, I didn't lose anything to the leaders, which is what you sort of want to see early on. It did take a big captaincy score to do that. But yeah, really happy about that. The round that I had, didn't lose anything to the leaders. As I said, the number one score is still roughly 300 points away. And then also to a hat, I'm only about 200 points away, which is definitely gettable with some really good captaincy scores. And then some just stay away from the big drops that some players are having. So yeah, just trying to gain value at this point, and really just the same across both formats in the end. It's just, it is a value game, and then we wait to get into upgrade season, which first upgrade is probably, well, I mean, you can sort of say Powell is an upgrade, but it isn't necessarily. I don't know if it will be a long-term thing or whether it will be a short-term, whether he'll stay or whether he'll be one of the last guys to be upgraded. But yeah, we're almost in upgrade season. I would say that if you can sort of consider Brodie Grundy a mid-pricer, then it is upgrade season next week for me. But we'll wait and see on that one. But anyway, before we get into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the not recap, but the review, I guess. So as you can see here, like I was saying in the intro, 2003, 17.3 mil. Etc. We saw last year that you needed roughly, what was it? I ended up with a $22.4 million team, but I have Windhager at like 600k on the bench. So I'm thinking we're going to roughly need around about, we're probably going to need 21 mil, just because of the way the forwards are structured at the moment. Since we lost all of them, we lost 3 or 4 110s. And they're being replaced by 90s. So we're losing a roughly 80 to 90 points of value, at least I would believe. And the defenders as well, we're probably losing a little bit in value. And the rucks. So yeah, I reckon 21.5 mil you need to get to. And then anything beyond that, you can start to almost get the bench, get some good guys off the bench. So yeah, that's what I'm sort of thinking in terms of team value. So that's another 4 million that I need to gain, which I think I can do, just because we do have a lot of good rookies at the moment in Roberts, Sanders, McKercher, Sharp, Clark. Howes has done pretty well so far. Lazaro, Campbell, Manor, Manor if he gets back on, and Wilson are really good rookies. So Wilson didn't really turn up, but they're pretty good rookies, gaining at least 20k per round. So yeah, they're doing really well. So that's why I think I can hit the 21.5 mil quite quickly, and we're going to get into upgrade season soon, as upgrade season sort of starts to happen when you get when the rookies start to get to sort of that 500k range. That's sort of when the upgrade season starts to happen. So she's a 126, as we went through in his game review. Brilliant score. I was pissed off when he made the score that I didn't VC him, but then I wasn't pissed off when Max Gorn went one better. Well, not one better, he went 20 odd better. So yeah, absolutely huge score from him. And you'll see that my round sort of revolved around hitting, I think it was 7 out of the top 10 scorers. And if we look at the top 10 scorers, if we go last round, you'll see that Warple, like, no one has. So that didn't actually hurt me. Taranto, 2.7 owned, so no one has him. Heppel, no one has him. And then you're already pretty much off of the top 10. Vlosten, no one has. 1% owned. Harry Mackay, no one has anyway. So Caleb Sarong was the biggest one that kicked me with the 13% ownership. And yeah, if I'd gone Sarong instead of Bont, I would be what's his total points? Total points 404 compared to 297. So I'd be 107 points better, which would probably put me, I don't know exactly, but it would put me well more up the overall rankings. Probably, I think, roughly 2k or whatever. But yeah, that was a stuff up on my part going Bont, but I went for the fixture, and it didn't really go well. So that's something to keep in mind when you go. When we're doing next year with the early buys, is the fixturing, etc. Doesn't, like, hunting the bad teams can also, especially for inside mids with West Coast being this bad, can also be a worry, and that they just get put forward or subbed in Libba's case. Hayden Young came back strong, and yeah, glad that I held 99.7. It's weird to think that Hayden Young's had 2 stinkers, and he's averaging more than Luke Jackson, who I've been so happy with his selection. So yeah, maybe Hayden Young isn't so bad after all. And yeah, he'll be a top 6 in my eyes now that he's starting to get those really uncontested marks, because when they use him, he uses it well. So yeah, really happy about that. Elliot Yo, 108. Yep, really good value, 92 average. He was priced at like what, 633k, whatever that is. 633k divided by 9,000. Divided by 9,000. He was priced at 70 and he's gone 92. That's 22 points of value at his pricing, is absolutely huge. Whitfield was on the buy, so I used his captain, used him as a captain to get the big Gorn score. D'Ambrosio came in and was on the bubble of my best 18 with the 60. Kind of sucks. Conditions didn't help. Should have gone, as I said in the Hawks recap, I should have gone the Mullen and Powell route. That would have saved me it would have gained me 29k off the Powell versus D'Ambrosio, as well as 43 points. And it would have also enabled me to get the Mullen price rise, which was Mullen 16k. So in the end, was it too valuable? Probably 45k and 40 points. A stuff up, but it wasn't a major stuff up, so I'm not too disappointed. And Mullen does look all right, but I don't think he's going to be a major cash gen, as he played a really good game and got 51. Zach Williams, 60, he's going to grow. They're both, I think, Williams and D'Ambrosio basically at the same point. 44 BE, and they're only 75k apart. They both have the 44 break even. So yeah, hoping for 70s out of both of them, I think, as that will just be a decent score, especially with the mess that we have in the backline at the moment, where it's basically you want 4 premiums and D'Ambrosio and Williams. So yeah, not too disappointed with that at the moment. Then you go into the midfield. Bontempelli scratched his way to a 103, and so just hoping he can get back to his best, as him at his best is a 120 guy. So yeah, I knew that this regression would happen, I predicted that it would occur, just because it occurs all the time with the top guys. So yeah, disappointed that I went with Bont, but something that we've got to live through now, and just hope that he can turn it around, as he is a great player, and if he wants that Brownlow, he's going to have to turn it around sometime soon. Zach Butters is 79. He basically scored like 20 odd in the first half, so I'm not too disappointed about that. Really tough matchup for him. Has Essendon this week, and we've seen similar players in Heaney as well as Papley, as well as, well, yeah, you can just look at those two. Chad Warner also have huge games against Essendon, so I'm not too disappointed about that. And also Essendon played, who did they play? They played St Kilda, and we saw Steele go 120. We also saw, if we go to all clubs, if we go to St Kilda, we saw Seb Ross also go huge, and Sinclair go 99. So you can sort of see the pattern here of they give up quite a few. So I'm looking at that and thinking that he can go better. Steele has Richmond. Richmond played Sydney, and if we look at Sydney's best scorers, you saw Rowbottom, Lloyd, Blakey, as well as Heaney and Brodie Grundy all ton up. So I reckon that Steele is looking good this week as well for a big score, and he's gone an average 117. So yeah, he will get a price rise again, most likely. And I think I have the captaincy on him at the moment. I think I'm rolling a Heaney into Steele at the moment. Nick Martin, 145. Yep, absolutely huge. And yeah, 44 touches, 8 marks maybe? 8 marks, 1 tackle, 31 kicks. He almost turned up off kicks alone. So yeah, just really happy about that. Really happy I held, and now is one of the better midfielders. And we'll get DPP when he does, and that'll just slot right back in there, as well as probably a Matty Roberts as I go Howes down to a Howes in about round 6 or so, or just at his bye, probably just after his bye, to be honest with you, and get him down to a midfield rookie as I get Roberts or something there as well. Or I could go him down to just a defensive rookie and Massimo up to a midfield primo. That's something I've considered, but also you need Nick Dacos as well. Need to grab Nick Dacos in there as well as some of the other defenders that will pop up. Bono127 had the 17 turnovers. Will be interesting. I think he will hold his spot. I think the community is a little bit volatile in there, wanting a player out, etc. So I think he holds his spot, but is a watch there. Colby McKercher, 77, huge output again from a rookie. Yes, would love the hundreds, but cannot get 100 each round, obviously, and hasn't actually gone 100 for Kobe, but a 94, 76, 77, pretty good output, and he's just going to gain cash. It's as simple as that. 7 break even. Yes, we're not seeing a Harry Sheasel out of any of the rookies, but we're seeing enough out of these sort of rookies, which is great to see, and we're seeing a lot of output in the midfield. Riley Sanders, 85. Yep, he has been great. Projected price rise of 56k next week. So yeah, I think all of these rookies could almost get to 650, 700k. Roberts, 94. He's been a huge as well. Has West Coast. He could easily pop another 90 score. And yeah, if you take out that 68 against Collingwood, he's actually averaging close to... He's averaging close to He's actually averaging 90. If you take out that low score against Collingwood. So yeah, he's been really good. And 90 is getting close to a top-of-the-line backman. So it is crazy just to think about that. Hold the phone, because he may be one that we just, push on for a round 15 guy in around on his bye just to get the points or whatever. Or potentially just hold him. So there is thoughts about that, of just holding him, because he may just get his way up to 700 to 750k. That's how crazy his rise has been. Sharp and Clark off the bench doing wonders. And yeah, they may have to be fielded when we get DPPs. But we may be already into upgrade season enough that maybe they're the ones that get chopped. But we'll wait and see in that one, as they are going really, really well. But some rookies need to get chopped when we do upgrade season. So yeah, just hoping that their roles stick. And as Clark was really amazing, as I went through in the Geelong versus Hawthorn recap. So really happy about his role and his output in the last couple of weeks after having an absolute shocker in round 1. Round 2 he wasn't much better, but in round 3 he was, against Hawks, he was much, much better. Grundy, 103, so we got back on those Sherry owners, and now we have the good matchup against West Coast, who are leaking points to the Ruckman. I know English only got a 98. Obviously a little bit not worried about that as all, as that game was dead after about a quarter and a half. And I think Grundy being the solo ruck, he'll get a lot of ruck time and he'll dominate against Bailey Williams, especially being an around the ground ruckman. He could easily put up a stat line similar to this, add a goal, add another 10 hit outs, add another sort of 4 kicks here. I could easily see him having a 25 disposal, sort of 10 kicks, 30 points, 15 handballs, another 30 points, so 60. 5 and 5 is another 35 points, so that's already 95 points. A couple of free kicks or whatever, say the free kick differentials are negligible, and then a maybe 30 hit out day, and end up with a 125 or a 130. That is something that I could easily see Brodie Grundy doing. Max Gawn, a 146, was absolutely huge with the 50 hit outs against Port. 14, 6, 6 and 5, 3 and 2 free kicks was a little bit annoying, but 1 goal 1 helped him get up to a 146, which was huge. Jackson, 88, a little bit annoying against against Riley O'Brien, but understandable given Riley O'Brien is literally just there to get hitouts and not even, I think, hitouts to advantage. So against Tom De Koning, he should do better next week. 88, not too worried about it at the moment. Just worried about, not really worried about his scoring, just worried about his role in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So just watch the Freo injury list when it comes up later today. Heaney 127, he's been absolutely huge, 120 odd average for the year, 122.5, has West Coast, should put up 120 plus, I would expect, against West Coast, given he went, what did he do last year against West Coast? You can just look at it'll be his highest score last year, but I'll just double check. So I'm suspecting it was a 129 that he put up against West Coast last year, and yes, it was a 129 on 5 goals, 4 behinds. 13, 9, 6 and 5. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he puts up a 120 plus score, given that he should be able to put up better sort of marks, tackles and disposals in general. He'll get another 4 or 5 disposals, I think, on top of what he did against West Coast last year, given that he's putting up roughly he's putting up probably 28 to 29 touches a game, which would be another 10 touches a game, which sort of negates the goal impact, and is kicking 1 to 2 goals a game. So yeah, I think he puts up a 120 plus score. Zach Fisher, I think, just needs to get the ball more. I think they're going through, obviously going through Sheasel, and I like that. I'm going through McKercher. Just share it between McKercher, Sheasel, and Fisher, please. Just getting them all. Getting Sheasel is 120, getting Fisher his 95, and getting Colby McKercher an 80 plus would be perfect. But yeah, not too worried about Zach Fisher at the moment. Jack Billings, absolute Dumbo of the week almost. Yeah, he just sucked, man. Just simply, he sucked. And 30, he'll be going next week for either Flanders or who's the other guy? Powell. Powell was a bad miss this week, but it was a Powell or Massimo D'Ambrosio decision, and I went the wrong one. Lucky I didn't go Windhager, because I wouldn't be able to get the if I'd gone Windhager, which there was a time in the week where I did, there would be the mess of all of this going on, and that would probably ruin the fantasy, not season, but it would ruin a couple of weeks. So I'm glad that I had none of that stuff. James Jordan 60 probably still goes this week, just because of the plan that I have in place, because I may have to suffer him going a 75, 80 plus score against the Eagles, which sucks, but it's for the greater good of getting these bye players out so that they don't burn me on the bye. Because basically the plan is that I may get him out now, but I may not have to get burnt by a Luke Jackson or a Heaney role change or something like that. I'm just setting myself up in the future so that I may miss out on the West Coast matchup for one guy who I don't even think James Jordan will be impacted by the West Coast matchup, to be honest, in general, as well as Taylor Adams being back. He may be dropped in general. But I'm doing it so that I have more flexibility in the future. I'm looking at long-term stuff rather than short-term, and that is, especially with the uni course that I'm doing at the moment, that is a lot of the talk about what a lot of people do is fail, is by using short-termism. So I'm trying to look more long-term, and long-term by getting James Jordan out, it'll be more effective in covering the buys, which are the week after. But in the long-term, in the next sort of 4 to 5 weeks, enabling me when the role change happens for Luke Jackson and potentially a role change for Isaac Heaney, as well as negating Brodie Grundy's bye, being able to navigate those 3 things, as well as getting in Flanders, Dacos, and Rowan Marshall in the next 3 weeks, whichever order it needs to be. It just is a lot more flexible by getting rid of James Jordan, as well as having a guy who's outperforming his price massively. So that is the simple reasoning behind that play. Darcy Wilson, so watch it fail, basically. Darcy Wilson, 35, he sucked this week. And that's what you're going to get from wingers. That's why I said about D'Ambrosio's score being volatile. And I'm not actually too worried about D'Ambrosio's score, as he was getting around the contest a little bit. So I'm not too worried. As much as Darcy Wilson, who scored a 35 and will just be sitting on the bench for a little bit. Lazaro 55, Campbell 54, and then Mana DMP'd. I'm hoping Mana comes back and plays a little bit, as he hasn't been the worst. He's gone 23 as a sub and then 45. So yeah, I'm not too worried about Mana. I think he can pick it up a little bit as a pressing forward. I think he's not going to be... he's a little bit behind the ranks, but I'm not too worried about Mana at the moment. I think he will get games. It's just a matter of when. And that pretty much is the recap. Very, very... and yeah, you can see the trades now. Caulfield and Sexton to Massimo and Sean Mana. Didn't really work for me this week, but hopefully next week my trades are a little bit more easier to do, and they work out for me. So that is basically the video there. And I guess I will see you guys in the next one, which will be the cash cows, trade targets, or whatever. That will probably be filmed on the Tuesday night going into the Wednesday. So we may not even have team news, injury news by then, by the time that comes out. But hopefully we sort of have the rundown of what's going to happen with regards to the guys, and sort of have a community response with trade out, etc. I know a lot of people do their trade outs later. But you sort of get a general vibe of who's going to be the ones that want to be traded out or traded in based on Tuesday's night or so. So yeah, anyway, that is the video there, and I guess I will see you guys in those 2 videos when I record them, and you'll see them on the Wednesday. So I'll see you guys there. Bye guys.